What's going on, guys? I'm Ryan. This is Indiana Weather Online. Welcome back to the YouTube channel. If this is your first time watching, feel free to hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel. More content, more breakdowns, more information can be pushed out here at IWO YouTube, so feel free to follow along and make sure you are subscribed to not miss any of future content. We have a severe weather risk in place for the Friday evening, Saturday morning time frame for pretty much the entire state of Indiana. So let's go and break it down here in terms of hazards, locations, time frames, all of that good jazz that you guys want to know. Starting with the overall outlook here, we do have a slight risk. That's your yellow area, level 2 out of 5. This is level 2 right here. That's going to be in place north of Vincennes, north of Indianapolis, north of Muncie, all the way to the Michigan border. It does include Northwest Ohio as well, Van Wert, Defiance areas. Also back up through Michigan, back through Illinois, Missouri, back all the way down through Texas. So a fairly large slight risk area in place here from the SPC. Now, hazards and time frames. Go ahead and go hazard by hazard here. Number one hazard is going to be damaging wind gusts. Same exact areas as it kind of matches the overall outlook. The highest risk is going to be in yellow, north of Indianapolis, north of Vincennes, all the way up to the Michigan border. South of that, a risk does exist there in that brown color, but it's a lower risk, level 1 risk down here. So 1 up here, 2 up there. That is your risk levels out of scale of 5. All right, going to hail, same areas. Large hail a concern tomorrow evening, primarily for northern Indiana. Southern Indiana has a threat as well, but right now a bit more uncertainty with that. And then finally, there is a low risk for a tornado for areas there in green. So anywhere, again, north of Vincennes, north of Indy, and north of Muncie, and we're south down here in white, there is no risk from the SPC for a tornado. It's only the green areas. All right, those are your 3 hazards. So kind of an all hazard threat. Let's talk about time frames, ingredients, what to expect, etc., etc. So going into the model runs, this is a future forecast model. We call it the high resolution rapid refresh, HRRR for short. Let's run this through. All right. So today we're going to pretty much dry out there for the most part, perhaps a shower or two in the afternoon for isolated areas. Not much of a concern today. Overnight tonight, we could have some storms passing off to our north in Michigan. Again, we're going to stay dry. As we move into the day on Friday, though, here is Friday at 1 p.m. All right, notice how we are completely dry. There's not a speck of rain there in the state. Moving into the afternoon and evening, we stay dry, we stay dry, we stay dry. Temperatures throughout Friday are going to be upper 70s, low 80s, a very pleasant, windy, warm, and a little bit humid of a day to enjoy out there for your Friday. So again, Friday afternoon and evening should be a clear, dry day. Get out there, enjoy it. Evening, late evening into the overnight period is when the concern starts to ramp up, and also where there is still uncertainty with how everything evolves. Let's go ahead and talk about this and break it down. So this is the first model we're going to look at, the HRRR. We're going to have some showers and storms pushing into the state here close to or around the 9 to 10 p.m. Eastern time frame. All right, notice how these storms do not look very menacing. All right, moving into 10 p.m. here. Here's 11 p.m. Notice how most of these storms kind of try to go up, try to form, but they don't really show or turn into a very, big line or really bright colors. Like they're just kind of dull in nature. All right, here's 1 in the morning Eastern. Here's 2 a.m. Now we're talking about some storms here. There's 2 a.m. Here's 3 a.m., 4 a.m., and then there's that secondary line that we talked about on our page here just a few hours ago. Secondary line develops here. That's going to push into South Indiana, closer to that sunrise Saturday morning time frame. So potentially a 2-round threat here is being shown by the models. That's going to move through. Here's 5, 6 a.m., 7 a.m., 8 a.m. That's where the model stops there at 8 a.m. on Saturday as that pushes through the state. So I'm going to back this up here. I want to highlight number 1 round could be further north, northwest Indiana. That's why we have that slight risk in place from the SPC for that northern Indiana area. That is to account for potential development, keyword potential here, in the northern part of Indiana. And then the southern part of Indiana would have a threat a little bit later on, overnight into the sunrise period on Saturday morning. So kind of perhaps 2 rounds there to keep an eye on with 2 different time frames. All right, so going to a different model though, we are looking at numerous type of models to kind of give a better idea of what to expect. So here is the FV3 model. Here's 10 p.m. on Saturday here. We dry all Friday again. When we get to the overnight period, this model does show development there around that 1 to 2 a.m. time frame for northern Indiana. Some cells there do pop up. That would be the round 1. Then moving on toward the sunrise period, here comes that round 2 area. A bit further north as well. This is Saturday, 8 a.m. So there's still some model disagreement here to get kind of work out. But overall, we kind of narrowed it down to 2 different areas, 2 different time frames to keep an eye on here. So we'll have to watch that and see how that evolves throughout the day today into tomorrow. But keep in mind, there's still some model uncertainty that is mainly due because we have a atmospheric cap in place. We talked about that yesterday. Talk about it again. Atmospheric cap is basically a lid on the atmosphere. It's a warm layer above the surface that storms hit and they don't go up past it. It's kind of like a lid, so to speak. So as long as that cap is in place, storms are going to struggle to go up and become strong, big, tall, severe thunderstorms. They're going to struggle. If that cap can weaken, that will bode well for severe weather. But if that cap stays in place, we may struggle overall with severe weather. And that's also why models are kind of throwing out different areas and different time frames for storms, because each model says, hey, the cap is going to weaken at this time. Other models say otherwise. So it's kind of a pinprick, kind of choose your area type of day for these models currently. So hopefully by the time we get to tonight into tomorrow morning, we'll have a better idea of where to expect storms and when to expect them. But for right now, we're going to go 2 potential rounds. Round 1 for northwest Indiana here, pretty much all northern Indiana here, around that 10 p.m. to, we're going to say 3 or 4 a.m. time frame. This is going to be round 1. And then round 2 potentially further south here. Round 2 after that 4 a.m. time frame, probably going through that sunrise early to mid-morning on Saturday. So that is what our current thoughts are. And again, round 1, all hazards possible, damaging winds, large hail, low chance for a tornado. Round 2 looks to me at least to be more of a large hail threat and perhaps an isolated damaging wind. All right, so hopefully that makes a little bit more sense to you guys. We'll have updates on this tonight as well as tomorrow morning. We'll be live here on YouTube and Facebook for a briefing with a Q&A session. If you guys have questions, feel free to tune in, ask your questions, hang out with us. We'll talk about everything that comes out today. We'll kind of break it down like we're doing right now with updated data and kind of talk about it in more detail. So feel free to join us 7 o'clock tonight Eastern Time, YouTube and Facebook here at Indiana Weather Online. I am Ryan. Thanks for tuning in. I'll catch you guys tomorrow for update video as well as tonight for that briefing here on the page. You guys stay safe and enjoy the nice weather out there.